Hi everybody, Al Bernstein here with another one of my quick hits videos. And on this one we're going to talk about a heavyweight fight, a major heavyweight fight for a portion of the World Championship. It was made for April 9th at the O2 Arena in London. It features Olympic champion Anthony Joshua, an undefeated professional, challenging for the title against Charles Martin, who just won the IBF version of the heavyweight crown. This fight is fascinating to me because on both ends, you can make a case that this is either a terrific business decision or not the perfect business decision for each man to make. Either way, what it's done is it's created a very intriguing fight for fighters from two sides of the ocean to engage fans both in the UK and in the United States. Let's talk first about Anthony Joshua. He is a 26-year-old from Great Britain who won the Olympic gold medal, and he's 15-0 as a heavyweight, and has been brought along steadily. And as they've increased his opposition, it's been very effective for him. Now, the man he's facing, Charles Martin, who is in a way, many ways, the polar opposite of Anthony Joshua, because he has virtually no amateur experience, came to the sport late in his career, and he is a fighter who has probably not fought even the level of opposition that Joshua has. So certainly Joshua is by far the best fighter that he has fought, but he was able to win a heavyweight title. Now, as for Joshua in his last fight, he fought Dillian Whyte, a man who he had fought in the amateurs, and Whyte had knocked him down in the amateurs. And so there was enough bad blood, if you will, to create this match. Well, it was intriguing because Joshua was stunned early in the fight. Dillian Whyte hurt him, but Joshua was able to get through that and ultimately knock out Whyte. And so while on some levels it probably wasn't exactly the performance they wanted going into a championship match, it did show his resilience, and of course it showed his power. Joshua is a hugely powerful puncher. Now, Charles Martin, in the meantime, won the IBF title. Many would argue that he and Glasgow were two of the least qualified men to fight for a world title in a long, long time based on their resumes. But whatever the case, they were in there together. And Vyacheslav Glasgow fought Martin, and Martin was able to win when he did control the fight. But early in the fight, there was an injury to Glasgow, and the foot injury really, as much as anything, caused the stoppage. However, Charles Martin looked like he was in control of this fight, but it wasn't a satisfying win for Martin. Now, let's look at these two men and a comparison of them, and it will give you an idea of some of the other things I'm about to talk about. When we look down at this list, both of these men are pretty tall heavyweights. Now, for Joshua and Martin, they haven't really fought so many fighters the same size as them. And so for each man, they'll be facing a taller opponent. And for Joshua, facing a left-hander, which is very rare in the heavyweight division, is certainly something different. Now, the rounds of boxing are intriguing. Even though Martin has more rounds under his belt as a pro, I mentioned the huge amateur experience of Joshua. And also, Joshua's opponents have probably been better than Charles Martin's, because Charles Martin was literally untested before the Glasgow fight, and you can make the case he remains somewhat untested because that fight only went a couple of rounds. So the comparisons between these two are quite interesting, to say the least. Now I want to talk about how this fight got made, why it got made, and whether, in fact, each of these men made a wise business decision. Let's talk about Martin, first of all. So he wins the IBF title, and the very first thing he does as a champion is to call out another fighter. He called out Anthony Joshua and said, "I'll come to England to fight you," which is almost unprecedented. for someone that just won a championship to do that, and to take on what many believe is the toughest challenge you can have other than another title holder like Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury, or certainly Vladimir Klitschko, who had just been deposed, but he's going to be fighting Fury. So of all the people that Charles Martin could have fought, other than a champion, clearly Anthony Joshua was the best. And he says, I'll come to England to fight you. Now, what they were able to extract from this was a very good purse from Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing. When I first saw that this fight was going to be made, Martin was calling for it, my initial response was, why? Why would Charles Martin, who has had limited experience, go immediately for the toughest man that he could fight? Now, one of the answers is money. They'll make a bigger purse than they probably would have made in some other instances. But it's a risk-reward kind of a thing. Now, it's a bold move by Martin and his people, because if he succeeds, if he should beat Anthony Joshua, he has set himself up as a major player. Now, he said, what people are saying is the future of the heavyweight division. And now, I'm ready for Deontay Wilder if he should beat Alexander Povetkin, or Fury if he should beat Klitschko. And can't you imagine the idea of him beating a UK fighter and then Fury having to fight him? It's a gambit that is certainly risky, because Joshua will go into this fight a favorite. There's no question about that. Now, from Joshua's standpoint, I don't think they wanted to have a title fight right now. They wanted one more fight before he would get into the ring for a world title. But here's the thing. Charles Martin could have, based on his experience and where he was at in life, could have easily been on the list of opponents that Anthony Joshua was thinking about fighting anyway. So the only difference now is Charles Martin has a world title. So it's true that maybe Joshua got rushed into his world title shot earlier than he wanted, but this may be the opponent they want. Now, some would say a tall, left-handed heavyweight, not really what Joshua wants. And you can make a case for that. It'll provide a little bit of a conundrum for him. But he clearly is going to walk into that ring the favorite. And what will be fascinating about this is, whatever the results, somebody from this fight will now set himself up as the other truly major player. Even though Martin has a title, I can't really say that puts him in the category of the Wilders and the Furies and Klitschko's. And of course, Alexander Povetkin has something to say about this, because he'll fight Deontay Wilder in May. Now, the nice thing about all this is, look at the conversation, the rhetorical conversation I'm having with myself and with you about the heavyweight division. That hasn't happened in a long time, has it? Where we're thinking of specific heavyweight fights and saying, oh, these are going to be interesting. We want to see Povetkin and Wilder. Fury and Klitschko, we feel the need to have that fight to clarify further whether Fury is in fact worthy of having that title, and how much Klitschko has left in the tank. And now we have this fight to look forward to. And lurking in the wings, Luis Ortiz, another terrific heavyweight, and Joseph Parker, a great heavyweight from New Zealand. So there is life in the heavyweight division. And this particular fight on April 9th is going to be a fascinating transatlantic battle in which we are going to see someone emerge as one of the main voices in the heavyweight division. I'm glad this fight got made. I'm surprised it got made. Again, whether it's a good business decision for either side, we will find out. But all I know is boxing fans are the beneficiaries. I'm Al Bernstein. Join me next time on Quick Hits.